What's going on, people? Back with a bang. This is the Money Manager, back here to bring you guys another video today. So in this video, I'm going to be bringing you guys my weekly watch list, so the stocks to watch this upcoming week. And I do want to say, I'm recording this right now while you're watching football, so please drop a like, show some support, because it does take a lot of time. Obviously, I can't do it later or after football because I've got my own football to play. But yeah, as I said, drop a thumbs up to show some support. So in this week, we've got a few different stocks to watch, a few that are on the earnings plays, so a few sectors which will be affected by these earnings, and then obviously the usual stocks. And I also want to say, there's going to be many stocks that are going to be in the Discord, so make sure you come and join the Discord because you won't see those stocks unless you're in the Discord. But yeah, just to start off with the earnings. So to be honest, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, there's not a lot that's really intriguing that I find any interest in. But when it comes to Thursday now, we've got Delta pre-market. That should be interesting, and that will affect the airlines and maybe also just travel stocks overall, so also your cruise lines as well. Delta's really the one I'm looking at in regards to how it plays out this week. Walgreens a little bit, but more because of long-term investment. I think Walgreens is a good long-term investment, but that's a story for another day. And then Friday, we've got the banks, so we've got JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, we've got PNC, we've got Citibank, all on Friday as well. So yeah, First Republic as well. But yeah, the ones I mentioned are the main banks to watch. But I'm expecting another week where the market makers try to, throw you out of your plays. If you're in the puts, they try and get you to start switching to the calls. If you're in the calls, they try and get you to switch to the puts. All that kind of stuff, As you can see on this title here, banking earnings, what to know this week. So yeah, you can go on Yahoo Finance, check this article out, go read it out. And CPI is also Thursday morning, so that's going to have an effect on the market, of course. But yeah, let's move over to TradingView, look at the stocks that I'm watching for this week. So to begin with, let's look at SPY, the S&P 500 ETF, because last week we saw the key level I mentioned in many videos before, the 420 level. We bounced on that 420 level and took off. I'm expecting us, we're at 429 now. So the key levels to watch to the upside, I'd say 433, that's a key level. And then 436 if we break past 433. To the downside, 422, and then 420 is again that key level. So the main key levels are 420 and 433, but also watch for 422 and 436. You've got a daily chart here, and I mean, you see we're hovering around the moving averages, but that 420 level is where we bounced Tuesday and we just took off for the rest of the week, 9-point gain. So now, as I mentioned, the 433 level, just around there. I can draw that for you as well. 433 level, and then 436, just around there. So those are my key levels to watch. If we break past that, then yeah, 438, high 438, so on and so forth. But that's what I'm watching for SPY. I might as well address QQQ. So this is really the tech sector. So for QQQ, it could potentially be a double bottom here on the daily chart, potentially. But either way, my next level for QQQ is at 470 level, so around a $5 push, I'd say. That's what I'm watching for QQQ to the upside. So just around there, top of those three candles right there. And then to the downside, well, we closed at 364. Honestly, to the downside, I need to still wait, because I would pick out this spot right here, that 354 level, but that's still a $10 drop. So intraday, it might be better to trade this one, but for swing trades, I'll look at those levels: 354 to the downside, 371, 370 to the upside. Now moving on, of course, I'm going to touch on Apple. Apple largely dictates what the market's going to do. So we're at 177 right now. We have been breaking it to the upside. I've had 5 solid green days in a row, but now we're hanging just above my level of support / resistance. So we're just hanging above that level, and I want to see if we can really push. If we can push, then I can see a $5 gain on the way. First to 180, then 182. If we fail to break that, we could pull back down just to one of the moving averages, either here at 175, 173, or we could start breaking down past towards my level of support at 172. If if you look at the 4-hour chart on Apple, you can see that it potentially a double bottom here, which is why we started to push up, but we're still below the 200 moving average. So expect a little bit of a pullback, as I mentioned. I wouldn't be surprised if it does start to pull back a little bit, but of course you just watch, you trade whatever it gives you, and you play it out that way. AMD, a stock I traded this week, a stock I'm probably going to trade next week. 4-hour chart is showing a bit overextended, and you can see on the RSI is at 71. So time for a little bit of a pullback, but I'd say the target to the upside this week for AMD is $110. If not, we could pull on back down to the moving average, the 200 moving average on the 4-hour chart. And if it's looking at the daily chart, then we could pull back to this yellow line at $104.61. I'm intrigued to see what AMD does. Either way, however I play it, puts, calls, whatever, I'm just going to play what it gives me. And look, it can be a bit erratic. We have green, then red, then green, then red, then green, then red, then green. So we could maybe follow that pattern. Otherwise, just play whatever it gives you, like I said. Don't expect it to be red tomorrow just because it was Green Friday, Just play what it gives you. Now moving on to PayPal. It's a stock I bang on about for long-term shares. But right now, when we're looking at how it is, very bearish, getting rejected by the moving average constantly. Could hold here, but I'm expecting it to break to the downside and then really just be in free fall. But of course, if it does push up, I'm expecting it to get rejected by this 9-day moving average. If it does find support here, once we get confirmation of it breaking above the moving average and trending towards the upside, then I will get calls, but I highly doubt it. So I'm looking at PayPal puts. You've seen a bit of consolidation here, but really it's more bearish momentum right now. So yeah, PayPal puts are on the cards. And then sliding over to retail, Walmart on target, which I mentioned in yesterday's video. Go check that one if you've not seen it. Walmart puts, crazy long wick on the daily chart here. 4-hour chart shows it's very bearish as well, below all the 3 moving averages. So I'm expecting more downside to Walmart. If I had to pick a level and a price target, for those of you who are wondering, it would not be too much to ask of it to fall to 155, so $1.30 drop, and then all the way down to 153. That's what I would look at. First 2 price targets for Walmart. That wick could be telling us something. Let's just see, if there's a lot more selling pressure going into tomorrow as well. I think there could be, honestly, or at least some point this week, some heavy selling pressure. And then Target, very bearish. We had that falling wedge and we broke to the downside, very clearly bearish. I'd say next price target for Target, didn't mean to say target twice, but it's in free fall really. It's in free fall. Last time we were at this $106 level, we did push up, but this time I'm looking at it to the downside. Target is very bearish. 4-hour chart shows the same story. So yeah, Target puts on the radar as well. And a couple more stocks before I drop you guys some tips and gems which you need to know when you're trading. So Costco, shout out Bob showing off in the Discord for destroying Costco this week. So Costco's an interesting one because it had been trending nicely to the upside. These are the kind of trades we like. When it's trending up, pulls back towards moving average, then pushes higher. Now we start to break below the moving average. We closed below both the 9 and 21. Also a long wick on Costco. I think it's bearish, honestly. Just looking at the RSI pointing to the downside, looking at the back-to-back red days, looking at the closes below the moving average, looking at the selling pressure that you've seen. It's looking bearish. I will wait for confirmation of more downside, maybe past 553, and then enter the puts. But I do like this for puts right now, I'll tell you that. I'll wait for the confirmation of trade and then enter. And then lastly, I'm going to go with Tesla for you guys. I was supposed to touch on Exxon. I just remembered I was supposed to touch on Exxon. I did not even touch on Exxon yet. But Tesla, doing its thing. Daily chart here. 4-hour chart. Bullish. Bullish hourly. So I've gone all the way down to the 3-minute from the daily, and all of them look bullish. It's very good for Tesla. So expect some calls A push to around 272 would be my target. Moving average is 921 cross to the upside. RSI is just crossed bullish as well, so Tesla calls could be on the cards. Obviously CPI is Thursday, so you got to watch out for that as well. That's going to have its effect on Tesla. And now lastly, ExxonMobil, ticker symbol XOM. We're looking at the puts here. Are we going to pull back on down to $100? Potentially. Let me just mark this key level here. There's a very key level right here. So we touched once, twice, 3 times. And we bounced every time. It's also the top of this candle before the gap up here. So $101.72 to be exact would be the price target to the downside. But also point out here, this purple box as an important zone. We are just falling below that zone, we closed above it. If we fall back into that zone intraday, we could look to see if Exxon does bounce there as well. So keep that on your radar. $106, that zone between 106.46 and 105.82, let's say. Quite interesting, to be honest. Alright, now some of the usual tips and tricks you guys like to hear, or maybe you don't like to hear but you need to hear. Manage your risk, trade with money you can afford to lose. Don't overstay your time in a trade, so that goes to the upside or downside. If you're winning or losing, don't overstay. And of course, make sure that you trade adequately. So what does that mean? Trade what you know. Don't jump in late because you hear noise, and none of that throwing in 85% of your portfolio on a play just because you saw Shonoff make crazy gains with AMD. None of that. Be smart with it, trade what you know, and then benefit in that way. But you guys know the drill. As always, it's about love, so show love, drop a thumbs up, comment, share with your friends, and subscribe if you're new around here. It does help in a great way. Honestly, it does help so much, so please just do that. It does take time making these videos, squeezing them in for you on a weekend, in the weekdays. No matter when or where, it does take time, so please do that. And of course, check out the Royal Trading Academy, the Discord, the links in the description below. You guys know that's where the stock callouts are, that's where all the shoutouts are, that's where the plays are, the live trading, all that is in the Discord. And then check out the Stock Option Starter Pack. There's 10 videos for you guys. You'll have access to those for life. 3 hours worth of content. Again, access to it for life. It's a one-time fee. And then lastly, show up on all the socials. Follow me at The Wealth Print on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Show some love again. But thanks a lot for watching today's video. That's it from me. I got into making. You got into making. See you guys next time for another video. Peace.
Game over.